Our top focus this morning, India and United States will hold that crucial 2+2 ministerial dialogue in a few hours from now. Both the countries will sign a basic exchange and cooperation agreement for geospatial cooperation. The talks will be held between Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and his US counterpart Mark Esper, as well as External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar with his counterpart Mike Pompeo. The big focus of the high-level meet will be the signing of BECA, which I just mentioned, that is for geospatial cooperation. Other focus areas include deepening of security and military ties, strengthening of the Quad Forum, as well as boosting Indo-Pacific cooperation. The two countries will also discuss the steps to contain Chinese aggression. Yesterday, Rajnath Singh and S. Jaishankar held separate bilateral meets with the US counterparts. After meeting with them, Pompeo and Esper will be meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi later today. So that is after the 2+2 ministerial meet. So as I mentioned, India and the United States will be signing the crucial BECA agreement, and we decode for you this strategic pact. First, BECA means Basic Exchange and Co-op Agreement on Geospatial Cooperation. Essentially provides for the exchange of classified as well as unclassified real-time map data like GPS for real-time targeting by military aircraft and drones. This pact provides India with super accurate targeting for ballistic as well as cruise missiles. And under this BECA pact, India also gets to tap data from US satellites, from airborne sensors of the United States as well. This pact means that India will get now highly accurate target data to hit terror sites as well as to hit enemy positions. So US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, Defense Secretary Mark Esper, they've arrived in Delhi. They arrived yesterday for this third 2+2 ministerial dialogue between the two countries. Here's all that happened yesterday and also what's on the cards today.
Days before US presidential elections and amid a face-off between India and China along the line of actual control, two American biggies and President Trump's close aides, Mike Pompeo and Mark Esper, are in India for a high-level 2+2 ministerial dialogue. Shortly after the arrival, Defense Minister Rajnath Singh held talks with his American counterpart Mark Esper. The two reportedly discussed developments in Indo-Pacific region, expansion of defense cooperation, intelligence sharing and cooperation on Make in India. Hours later, Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar and US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo met for a similar dialogue. After ministers' bilateral meet on Monday, the third round of 2+2 dialogue with Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar with their American counterparts will take place on Tuesday. The secretaries will begin their day by visiting the War Memorial and laying a wreath in honor of the fallen soldiers. They will then head to Hyderabad House for the all-important 2+2 ministerial meeting. So what's on the cards? The long-pending Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement, or BECA, will be signed tomorrow. Also on the agenda for the Foreign and Defence Minister level talks would include regional security cooperation, defence information sharing, military-to-military interactions and defence trade. Pompeo Esper will also call upon Prime Minister Modi at 1 p.m. on Tuesday, which will be followed by press statements and media interaction.
Even as the United States of America is on election mode, a strong message and signal from Washington, D.C. that Indo-US ties are a continuum, that despite who comes to office in the United States of America, ties between the two countries are important and significant. Defense ministries and foreign ministries of both the countries are in conversation, more importantly to ensure that China is contained and expansionism of China is under control. With Abhishek Bhalla in New Delhi, Geeta Mohan for India Today.
And this morning, let's get you all the latest political updates from poll-bound Bihar. Seeking a record fourth term, Chief Minister Nitish Kumar seems rather jittery, facing an energized opposition and also a divided NDA, with the JP opting out. The incumbent Chief Minister's 4 rallies have been disrupted so far, resulting in Nitish Kumar losing his temper, losing his cool every single time. But what really is making Nitish angry? We decode in this report.
कि स्कूल में कोई पढ़ाई होती थी, अपने माता पिता से जाकर के पूछो कि कोई इलाज होता था.
Every passing day, Nitish Kumar is coming across as angry and bitter.
क्या बोल रहे हो? क्या बोल रहे हो? जरा हथवा उठाओ, कैगो अनाप शनाप बोल रहे हो? जरा हाथ उठाओ.
चारा चोर है सब, चारा चोर.
यहाँ पर ये सब हल्ला मत करो. तुमको अगर वोट नहीं देना है, मत दो.
Hailed as Sushasan Babu for bringing back law and order to Bihar, Nitish suddenly looks out of his depth.
तो ना मत देना ना, तुम मत देना. तुम 15-20 लोग हो या हजारों लोग हैं, उसकी फिर एक बार ताली उठा लीजिए एकदम पूरा. देख लो. अरे देखो ना पीछे, अगल बगल देखो ना, तो तुम लोगों को समझ में आ जाएगा.
Once described as Mr. Cool, the Bihar Chief Minister now is anything but that. His angry man avatar has left many wondering. Nitish को गुस्सा क्यों आता है?
और आगे बढ़ाएंगे. काहे के लिए मुर्दाबाद कह रहे हो? जिसका जिंदाबाद कह रहे हो उसका सुनने जाओ.
The answer perhaps lies in these crowds. The Mahagathbandhan's CM face, Tejasvi Yadav, has caught public imagination with his offer to fill 10 lakh government vacancies. What would make Nitish even more angrier is his former ally and self-proclaimed Modi fan, Chirag Paswan's unsparing attacks on him.
कार्रवाई होगी, जांच होगी और जांच में जो भी दोषी होगा, और इस बात को मैंने स्पष्ट तौर से कहा है, क्यों मुख्यमंत्री है इसलिए उनको जेल नहीं हो सकती, ये धारणा बनी हुई है. भाई किसी को भी जो भी दोषी है उसको जेल होगी, छोटे से छोटा अधिकारी होगा.
To add to Nitish's woes, his ally, the BJP too, has left him out of its advertisement blitz. The BJP's posters now feature only Prime Minister Narendra Modi, relegating the JDU symbol to one corner and pushing the NDA's Chief Minister face completely out of the frame. While the JDU is mum on the poster slide, it is music to the opposition's ears.
ये शुरुआत है, अभी पोस्टर से गायब हुए हैं, आगे देखिए कहां से गायब होते हैं.
Bihar's Chief Minister for 15 years, Nitish Kumar, is facing anti-incumbency. The BJP is banking heavily on Modi magic to bail them out. The question doing the rounds is whether BJP is trying to distance itself from Nitish Kumar to control the damage, and what it means for the alliance once elections are over. With camera person Deepak Kumar, this is Rohit Singh in Patna for India Today.
And the Central Bureau of Investigation has finally submitted its report to the Madras High Court on the Benix and Jairaj custodial death case in Thoothukudi. CBI's report confirms that both father and son were beaten to death and were subjected to brutal torture during their arrest. The investigative agency further stated that there was enough evidence to note the nature of their death, as the DNA samples collected from the walls of the Satankuram lockup, the toilet and SHO's room, besides the lathis, were a match to the 2 samples of the 2 victims. The final post-mortem report established that the deceased died due to the blunt injuries they sustained. Remember, on June 19th, Jairaj, a mobile shop owner from Tamil Nadu's Thoothukudi district, was picked up by the cops. His son Benix then went to the police station after his father. The father-son duo were then taken into custody and were beaten to death overnight. Fresh details are emerging out of the investigation into the Kerala gold scam, and it's not good news really for the government in Kerala. India Today's Access Customs Department report, which has been submitted now to the centre, where a left-backed MLA Karat Razak's name has surfaced. Now, Soumya, who is the wife of accused Sandeep Nair, has named Razak as well as a businessman, Karat Faisal, in her statement, which was recorded in July. Soumya told investigating agencies that her husband, Sandeep, and another accused, Ramesh, smuggled gold for Razak and for Faisal. The LDF-backed independent MLA has, however, denied any involvement, alleging attempts to falsely implicate him. The NIA, meanwhile, has arrested Rabins Hamid, one of the absconding accused, in connection with the case. Hamid was deported by the UAE government. The probe has revealed that Hamid purchased gold in Dubai, which was then smuggled to India. Let's move on to some other stories this morning. There's massive uproar over Mehbooba Mufti's tricolour remark, which she made a few days ago, and the BJP workers also took out a Tiranga rally in Srinagar. BJP workers also hoisted the tricolour at the PDP office in Jammu. Now, this Tiranga Yatra coincided with the 73rd year of accession of Jammu and Kashmir with the Union of India.
From Jammu to Srinagar, BJP workers took out a Tiranga rally to celebrate Accession Day on Monday. While it commemorated the 1947 Jammu and Kashmir merger, the rally was more aimed at Mehbooba Mufti.
हमने तिरंगा रैली निकाली है और गुपकार से हम निकल रहे हैं गुपकार के लोगों को संदेश देने के लिए 70 साल कश्मीर को आपने लूटा है सूटा है 70 साल यहाँ पर खून बहाया है आज कश्मीर खुल के बाहर आ चुका है आपके खिलाफ कश्मीर ने तिरंगा उठा लिया है
ये हमारे लिए खुशनसीबी है कि हम तिरंगे के साथ चल रहे हैं और देश में देश के जो हमारे वरिष्ठ नेता हैं जिन्होंने ये सोचा है अब देश के साथ साथ हमारे यूटी की भी उन्नति हो जाएगी हमारी डेवलपमेंट हो जाएगी
Never this day was being celebrated in this way as it has been celebrated by the BJP here in the Kashmir Valley. We are seeing that this Tiranga Yatra where hundreds of workers from different nooks and corners of the Kashmir Valley had gathered here in Srinagar and are now taking out this Tiranga Yatra.
4 BJP workers were detained after the police prevented them from hoisting the tricolour at the historic Lal Chowk in Srinagar. The Yatra also comes in the backdrop of PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti's comment that she would only hold the national tricolour when the flag of the erstwhile state is restored.
जिस वक्त हमारा ये झंडा वापस आएगा हम उस झंडे को भी उठा लेंगे मगर जब तक हमारा अपना झंडा डाकुओं ने डाके में ले लिया है तब तक हम किसी और झंडे को हाथ में नहीं उठाएंगे
Protesting against Mehbooba's statement, BJP workers hoisted the tricolour at the PDP office in Jammu.
It's a day of joy. It's a grand day. Doesn't matter Mehbooba Mufti holds national flag or not. But crores and crores and crores of common men in Jammu and Kashmir today have shown that they love tricolour Tiranga. They love India.
Now we are standing outside the office of People's Democratic Party here in Jammu city and look at the office. This entire area is dotted with tricolours. Number of organizations have been protesting for last 2 days here outside the office of People's Democratic Party, and you can see that the tricolour has been hoisted by the people here. There is massive outrage here in Jammu region over Mehbooba Mufti's controversial remarks on the national flag.
Politics has heated up in Jammu and Kashmir after the formation of the Gupkar alliance by the opposition. But Mufti's tricolour comment has triggered an unease within her own party and the National Conference, which is an ally in the alliance for the restoration of Article 370. With Ashraf Wani in Srinagar and Sunil Ji Bhatt in Jammu, Bureau Report, India Today.
Kings 11 Punjab registered their 5th successive win, this time against Kolkata Knight Riders, to boost their chances of qualifying for the playoffs. Punjab bowled exceedingly well up front after sending Kolkata in to bat first. Shami picked 2 quick wickets and eventually restricted KKR to 149 for 9. Mandeep Singh and Chris Gayle did not let Kolkata make a match out of it and kept the game well in control, with both scoring a half-century each. Kings 11 Punjab finished the match with 8 wickets in hand and surged to the 4th spot now with their 6th win overall. Delhi Capitals will have another opportunity to surge to the top of the table and virtually assure themselves of a place in the playoffs. But for that to happen, they'll have to get past Sunrisers Hyderabad. Hyderabad failed to chase down a paltry total of 126 against Kings 11 Punjab, which pushed them to the 7th spot on the points table. They've been far from consistent and have so far lost 7 out of 11 games. Another defeat can shut the playoff doors on them. Delhi Capitals also come into the game on the back of an embarrassing defeat at the hands of Kolkata Knight Riders, but still, they're a formidable side and would fancy their chances of making it to the playoffs. An injured Rohit Sharma has not been included in India's jumbo squad for the tour of Australia, which begins later next month. India is scheduled to play 3 T20 internationals, 3 ODIs and 4 test matches. Rohit suffered an injury during a game against Kings 11 Punjab and since then not taken part in any of the matches for Mumbai Indians. The BCCI, which announced the squad, said that the medical team will continue to monitor the progress of Rohit and Ishant Sharma, who also injured himself during the IPL. The selection committee made some prominent changes in the 3 squads. Rishabh Pant has been dropped from the T20 international and ODI squads. Spinner Varun Chakravarti gets a maiden call-up in T20 squad. Mayank Agarwal has also been rewarded with a T20 call-up besides being part of the test team. Navdeep Saini will also be a part of all 3 squads, while Mohammad Siraj has been picked in the test squad in the absence of Ishant Sharma.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.